Hi there, and welcome to today's episode of A Different Way of Seeing, a podcast where we talk all things disability. I'm your host, Lois, and today we are going back to the topic of sports for persons with disabilities, and we are talking blind soccer or blind football, depending on which country you live in. We're chatting with Coach Jack or Mlimbisi Msibi, who has started developing blind soccer within South Africa as a more formalized sport. And as he so carefully puts it, this came out of the community of blind youth who have stated their wish to play soccer. So today we're going to be diving into Coach Jack's story and the development of blind soccer, blind football within South Africa as a formal and organized sport. Coach Jack, welcome to the show. It is really great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Lo, and greetings to your listeners. Ahoy.
So, I think the best place for us to start is to find out a little bit about you yourself. So, who is Mlimbisi Msibi? And yeah, tell us a bit of your background.
Well, awesome. I'm Mlimbisi Coach Jack Msibi. He's a 32-year-old from the south of Johannesburg, a brother to Zipho Msibi, a son to Wendy Msibi, and a son to Arnold Lamini as well. I love anime, Naruto. I have to catch up a lot with my anime. I love sleeping. I'm told I snore. I think that's propaganda. I love people. I love food. I love inkomazi. I don't know if you have had inkomazi low with sugar. Have you?
Mm.
Komazi? It's like pap with sour milk. It's a delicacy. I love meat. I'm told I eat too much meat, and I'm called a troublemaker. Recently won an award, Young Mandela 2025 from News 24, because I cause trouble to institutions that don't want to do what they're supposed to do. And I'm an activist. I'm passionate. I'm a believer. I'm a God-fearing man. I do get naughty, but I still fear God. And that is why.
Would you mind sharing with our audience the meaning of your name? Because I think that is just, it captures everything about what you've
Yeah.
just told us.
Mlungisi is a beautiful name. It's my first name. It means the one who restores, the one who fixes, the one who brings order. It carries significant meaning. It's beautiful, but it keeps me up at night because I'm always thinking of solutions.
Yeah.
Literally, my mind is always busy with solutions. And my second name is Jack, which means God is gracious unto us.
And the other thing that I think um, helps or springs to mind in thinking about the work that you're doing and the conversations that we've been having is the very popular kind of business term that you are a disruptor, someone who sees the
Yeah.
status quo and goes, but why is it that way? Why don't we
Yeah.
do it differently and maybe a little
Yeah.
bit better? So, yeah,
100%.
we're going to be
Yeah.
diving into that a little bit today.
Sure.
So, tell me about how you came to start Corinthians Africa. Well, tell us what Corinthians Africa is, first of all,
Yeah.
and how you came to start it, because I love this part of the story as well.
Sure. Corinthians Africa was never planned. It started due to circumstances. I went to good schools by the grace of God. I went to King Edward VII School, Cares. I'm a Cares
Mhm.
boy. Shout out to all the Cares boy, the teddy bears out there. It's one of the top schools in the country, boys' school. Send your kids to boys' schools. They'll come out good. So yeah, I thank my mom for that opportunity. Then I went to Monash University. Then due to financial reasons, I had to drop out. Me dropping out was tough. And financially at home, it was also very tough because, um, we were paying bond, we were struggling to pay.
Mhm.
So the cutting off the electricity, the lights, kicking us out. So I was unemployed. I was a statistic in the country. And the opportunity presented itself for me to play football with my younger brother at the time. And then the kids who were shipping drugs in the community asked to play, and they were able-bodied, they could see.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked to play football with us. And I was like, well, okay. So played football with them. They were quite really excited about it. And they were persistent to come day in, day in, day in, day out. They would always come to a point where they said, we want Coach Jack to coach us. So I
Mm-hmm.
always say that Corinthians was not started by me. It was started by the kids in the community.
Yeah.
What I do is I facilitate and create platforms. That's what I do. If I had to basically reference a biblical character, I would say I'm John the Baptist. I make the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. And so those are the young people who started Corinthians. I was reading the book of Corinth with the Apostle Paul, writes to the church in Corinth, and he says, "When I'm weak in Christ, I'm strong." And so that for me was inspirational, and it gave me a lot of strength, and that's where the name Corinthians came from. And so initially it was South Hills Corinthians, but it came from the Bible because that's where I drew strength. In a time of hardship, I was still serving the community. And then for 7 to 8 years, we were in a park. We were playing soccer in a park, and no one saw us. But we really grew as a movement, and we're changing so many lives and disrupting so many things. And the city of Johannesburg saw the work that we were doing. They therefore gave us a facility.
Mm-hmm.
5 kilometers away, there's a place called La Rochelle. We inherited a facility, we transformed it with the community, and that's where we adopted different sporting codes, and we also adopted education for the kids as well. Now we also have agriculture. So we as Corinthians are a ministry. We use sports, education to transform the lives of young people. So we've got netball, we've got soccer, we've got cricket, we've got blind football, which is the most spoken about. And we've also got a STEM center where kids come and learn about science, tech, engineering, and mathematics. And Rosettenville is in Sector 1. It has one of the highest car hijacking, thefts, prostitution, human trafficking. We can go on and on. The gang violence that is, we can go on. Anything wrong that you can think about is here. But then there's Corinthians, which is a light, a city that has been set on a hill. So that's who we are.
And you're giving youth and teenagers an alternative. And I think that's
100%.
what's so powerful. You're giving them opportunities, you're giving them avenues to grow beyond and to giving them alternatives to the very often very attractive gang lifestyles.
100%. Alternatives, even more importantly, we give them hope and we give them life.
Yeah. So the the growth of the movement of the soccer for the blind, you maintain that that didn't come from you. This wasn't something that you
Yeah.
chose to drive, that
Yeah.
too came from the community. Can you tell us
Yeah.
that story, that part of the story?
That for me is beautiful. People like saying I started blind soccer. I always say that blind soccer was started by the visually impaired youth.
Hmm.
Again, I'm just John the Baptist. My role is to facilitate and give space. That's what I do. And I was approached by two young men who would come to Corinthians. Corinthians ministers to over 5,000 people on a month-to-month basis.
Gosh,
Impacts more than 5,000
yeah,
people. It's
that's
massive. It's a powerful movement in the South.
yeah.
And so they would come for the Africa Games that would happen on the weekend. And so they found out about me being the person who has oversight in the facility they'd inherited. And they found me. So that one of them was partially sighted, the other one was a B1, completely blind. And they would work together and they approached me. Someone brought them to me and they asked about playing football. So in my mind, I was like, are they joking? Are they serious? Like, no, but you guys can't see. Like, you want to play against the Nigerian guys, and these guys are big, they're strong. So I was just like, okay, guys, but yeah, no, the guys here are big. So I didn't know how to articulate it to them, but I was almost like, hey, look, we'll see to it. But yeah, I don't think you'll be able to really play. But look, this is the beauty of it. These guys were persistent for 2 months,
Hmm.
for 2 whole months. They kept on coming to this facility and saying, where's Coach Jack? And they would find me, Coach Jack, we're here to play. Coach Jack, how are you? Coach Jack, we're here. Coach Jack, Coach Jack, Coach Jack. To a point where I got so frustrated by them. I'm like, yo, these guys, every time I go to the facility, they look, and it's gonna sound like a pun, right? And people get so sensitive with this. They were looking for me
Mm-hmm.
because when you use the word looking and see, people make it sensitive. And one of the things the visually impaired young people, my players have taught me is that Jack, we can see.
Yeah.
Seeing is not only by the physical eyes, we see from the heart. And that for me is profound. And so we limit eyesight from what we can see with our eyeballs. Visually impaired people see from the heart, and literally they can.
Mm.
And they're like, okay, yes, Coach Check. And they would find me. And so now I was like frustrated because now they're watching and they're looking for me and whatever, whatever. Because they enjoyed the football. They'd sit and
Yeah.
listen to the football. They would know what's happening, who's scoring, what's happening. And that blew my mind off. Like you have these guys seated and a game of football is being played, but they can know which teams are there. They can know the score. They can know what's happening. That was incredible. And so we went towards December. Now we're closing in Corinthians, and I'm going on holiday. And I remember I was just like, Yara, these kids, they're always on my case. And I remember when they were walking towards where they stay 3 houses up the block. And I remember I was driving and I was waving towards them, and they were waving towards me. And I was hooting, and they were like smiling and everything. It touched me. I was
Mm-hmm.
convicted. And I was like, okay, let me give it a chance. I am a coach in the community. I'm reputable in knowing how to coach and really developing the young people. Blind football, is it possible? I then started doing research in December and reading the IPSA manuals, and that's where I discovered that blind football is a real thing. It's a big thing. It's been around for a long time. It's big in Europe. It's big in South America. It's big in Asia. It's dominant. Even in Northern Africa, it's got a foothold. So that's when I decided, okay, it's possible. And then I had an aha moment. And I was like, oh, but the Johannesburg Society for the Blind is down the road. So I already have 2 players who are interested. I've got a whole blind society down the road. Why not just connect it? Look, we can actually make this thing happen. Discovered the soccer balls are not around. So I said, okay, Sharp, I'll go to ShopRite and I'll go to the dustbin and I'll get the plastic bags and we'll put a normal soccer ball in the plastic bag so it makes a sound because they play
Yeah.
by hearing.
Yeah.
And then we're out of COVID at that time. So COVID masks, I would get that because there's variation of blindness, though, as you may know, right? Even B1s I learned also have variation of blindness.
Yes.
And so to make it uniformed, you would have to cover them with masks. So that's what we did. So I was like, I have 2 players. I pitched it to the Johannesburg Society for the Blind. The principal was like, I'm crazy. But she's like, look, I'll give you a shot, speak to everyone. And I spoke to them, and I will never forget the day when I spoke to everyone at the Johannesburg Society for the Blind. The mixed emotions. There
Mm.
was excitement, there was fear, there was confusion. There was like, what the hell is about to happen here? Blind football. We know goalball, we know blind cricket, we know all these other things, but blind soccer. So I'll never forget that day. It was incredible. Just the mixed emotions of everyone. I could remember it as of today, the goosebumps I get whenever I mention it. And so
Mm.
I pitched it, 6 players signed up. And for the first month, we did something called What's Your Story? So I never took them to the ground. For the first month, we did What's Your Story? So we started sharing our experiences. Who are we? What have we gone through in life? And I was so touched by the stories, how they lost their eyesight, how some of them were born blind, the things they go through in society. And that's how we bonded. But now, here's the interesting story, Lo. Where are the 2 blind kids who approached me? I now start looking for them and I go to their house and I knock by the house, 3 houses up the road from where we are as Corinthians. A lady comes out and she's like, I approach her, hi, ma'am, how are you? Yes. And you're speaking in Zulu. And I'm
Mm.
like, I'm here for the blind kids to stay here. We've started blind soccer. I'd like them to join. And she's like, blind kids? There's no blind kids who stay here. I was like, sorry, no, 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 they stay here because I would see them enter here whenever I would drive out of Corinthians. She's like, there's no blind kids. She's like, go check in the back rooms. I checked in the back rooms. There was no blind kids. I started asking the kids on the road because I take some of the kids on the same road to youth. And I asked, have you guys seen the blind kids who would come to Corinthians? And they said, which blind kids are you talking about? There are no blind kids in this road. We did a house to house for the whole road and we discovered there's never been blind kids who stayed there.
What?
I came back to Corinthians. I started speaking to the caretakers. I said, guys, do you remember the 2 blind kids who used to come and they would ask about playing blind football? And the caretakers said, Ish, Mpati, meaning, hey, boss, there's a lot of people here, but we don't remember seeing blind kids. I said, no ways, Oaks. There's no freaking ways, man. Are you telling me I'm the only person till today?
Mm.
No one has ever seen the blind kids. I guess it's only me. I will leave it there. You will do with it as you will.
Oh my word. Gosh. Wow. Okay. I'm not certain where to take this right now. I'm sitting think I'm sitting with this thinking of so many possible ideas and thoughts about what could have happened there.
What are you
Yeah.
thinking? Share with me. I'd like to hear. It's a conversation. I know you've got a list of questions, but let's hear. What's your thoughts? Because I don't have
I
anything conclusive. People conclude on my behalf and they'll say it could be angels, could be this, could be that,
yeah.
could be a lot of things. If you have two visually impaired kids, there's no ways you can miss them because
Mm,
they walk in line. They would literally have a hand
mm,
over each other. That's how I'd
mm.
always see them. They're easily visible.
Yeah.
There's no ways you could miss them. They were by the stands amongst the people.
Yeah.
No one has seen them except for me. I used to think I'm probably going mad.
And yet call me a cynic, I don't know, but I'm also constantly hearing stories from here in Africa of children with disabilities not being seen, acknowledged,
Sure,
because of the belief that it is seen as a mark of a past sin.
sure.
And that's where my heart goes. I really would hate to believe that it is something along those lines. But let's leave that open because there are so many possible
Yeah,
questions and solutions of what did happen. And I'd like to believe that there was a far more positive solution to that.
I say
So,
this low. If it was not for those two
mhm,
boys, there'd be no blind football today.
yeah,
I did not wake up and start blind football. I didn't plan, but those two boys were persistent for 2 months.
yeah,
If it was not for them, there'd be no blind football.
sure.
So as to what we conclude, I think everyone will conclude as it may be. The listeners will conclude as it is. I think it's an interesting one for your listeners to really to think about. But the beauty of it is that they initiated something beyond them.
Yes,
That now is more than a club; it's a league.
yeah,
It's more than a league. It's something that's going to impact nation, the whole nation.
absolutely.
And we'll leave it there.
Yeah, I think that's a good solution. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you happy to chat about some of the challenges that you faced in trying to grow the sport within the country here? Because I know from chatting to people who have come through the schools for the blind that when I mention blind soccer, and they're like, yeah, well, we used to play just informally, but we didn't know about like a more organized sport. Why is that the case? Why hasn't there been, seeing as you've, as, and I'm aware as well of a lot of countries around the world who have very active blind soccer in the countries, and here in South Africa, where soccer, where football is such a part of our culture,
Yeah.
why has blind soccer never been a thing?
Sure. And you said something very important. Blind football's been around for a long time in this country.
Hmm.
It's been around for years, informally so. My players would share with me how they would take bottles and put stones and they would play.
Yeah, yeah,
The problem that we have, and the first and biggest problem that we have, is gatekeepers. That's the biggest problem that we have in sports for disability and just in general in this country. And that's why I advocate that young people and the right people need to influence the spheres
yeah.
of government, politics, business, arts, whatever it is. Guys, occupy, and get in there. And we need you guys to get in there so you
Mm,
can influence it the right way because the wrong people are in power. And if the wrong people in power, the Bible says that when the wicked are in power, the people mourn. And blind football can't be coming out in 2025. It cannot be. I mean, it's been around for over 50 years in
yeah,
Brazil, even longer in Spain. I mean, there's even the whole terminology of boy comes from Spanish. How is it that we're only catching on now as South Africa, the most so-called developed country in Africa, but you have countries like Uganda that have been doing it longer, countries like Nigeria that have been doing it longer. Again, the problem is gatekeepers. The people who are in power in sports for disability, the people who are in power are supposed to advocate for those with disability, and those who are just in power in general know what they're supposed to do, but they're not doing it. And so they frustrate the system. So even now with what we are doing and we putting structures, they send me pillar to post. They don't even take my emails. They don't take my calls. And it's like, how can we work with you? Show us what to do. It's not me coming out and saying I'm a messiah or a savior. It's me saying, look, this is what I find is my calling. I'm excited to build this up. Can we work with you? Yeah. And then they will try to come up with jargon. They'll try to oppress, frustrate you, to irritate you, or by all means just ignore you. And you don't understand as to, but you guys are supposed to represent this constituency. Why is it that you guys are not doing anything? So that for me, I found very, very frustrating. I'll be honest with you. It's been the most frustrating thing. And I'm an able-bodied person. I can see. But now imagine those who cannot and who've been trying to fight this. They've been exhausted by it. I thank God for the grace of the energy that I have to continue fighting. Yeah. But we can't just always be fighting. There needs to be a place of building. There needs to be a time of building. Solomon says there's seasons under the sun. There's a season for this and there's a season for that, a season to be born and a season to die. There's a season to fight and there's a season for building. We can't fight all the time. But for me, it's been the biggest challenge. Once you have the right people in power and once you have the right people that can have the mentality to build, then things can happen quicker than they should be happening. Then things then start finding progress. Then the resources can come, the structure can be built, the foundation can be established. But you need to have the right people in power. And so to the listeners that are out there that are listening to this podcast is, guys, we are waiting for you. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. No one is coming to save us. No one is coming to do anything. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. So let us get there. For me, it's to advocate to ensure blind football finds a seating in SAFA. It's been very, very tiring to go back to and forth there, which is the South African Football Association. Yeah. But once blind football finds a seating, I think the work can be amplified.
Do you think that will come from the increased groundswell of participation in blind soccer?
Participation, advocacy, it'll find a mixture in different things. One of the exciting things that we do, we've got a blind soccer league that's running in Joburg. We're going to obviously scale it throughout the whole country. And look, we've got no sponsors, nothing. But I told the gents and I told the coaches and I told the schools, I said, let's start. Whether we start small, we start ugly, we start bad, we start with whatever. Let's start. And the beauty of the league is we start. That's the most important thing. Yeah. So there needs to be a mindset that's cultivated that no one is coming to save us. No one is coming to give us what we are also entitled to. And I don't like using the word entitled, but there are things which are meant for the people in sports for disability, but no one is coming to do it. So what we need to do is to get up, to go and to fight and to be aggressive and to mobilize and to do it ourselves. So that's what we've done with blind football is we realize that no one is coming to do it. We will do it. We will spread the message. We will amplify the message. We will get the media. We will get celebrities to come play blind football. One of the beauties of the league is we invite people for an exhibition game. Mm-hmm. Now people come and then you put a blindfold over them and you put patches and you get them to play. And then when people leave, they're like, wow, what? What? This is, so what you're doing is you're changing perceptions of people. How people see visually impaired people. They see blind people just walking with a stick. Blind people showing that blind people can do much more. Blind people can not only run with the ball, dribble with the ball, shoot the ball. If they can do that, they should be part of the economy of the country. Yeah. That's what blind football is doing for me. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. And so these exhibition games are amplifying. We're inviting social media influencers. We're inviting professional players like Paul and Lanya, business people. And it's really changing perception of people and showing that inclusiveness is important. Blind people can be part of the economy. They are in the economy, and allow them not to just be a fickle there, allow them to really contribute and entrust them with the resources in the economy. That for me is the beauty of blind football.
And that's one of the interesting things that I've been finding having these conversations about sports that are inclusive of people with disabilities is the level of inclusion that I'm finding. In so many of the sports that I'm chatting to people who are that they're involved in, they're saying, yes, we are wheelchair users, we are blind, we are deaf, and we have people who are not disabled who are playing sport with us. And I love that.
Sure.
I love that the sport, which is so much part
Beautiful.
of our culture and our recreation, is showing levels of inclusion that we're struggling with in the workplace. We're
Sure.
struggling with in terms of political
Sure.
representation. So many arenas we're not seeing the inclusion that we'd like to. But in sport, it is happening.
Sure.
And that for me is an incredibly positive thing.
Sure.
So I want to actually take us a slight sidestep.
Mandela said something powerful. Sorry, Lo.
Yeah,
He
no,
said
carry on.
something. Oh,
Tell me.
Madiba said something
Yeah.
which is profound. He made a speech in Mandela, Madiba.
Mm,
He
mm,
says something so profound, which is the former president of South Africa, the father of the nation, Tata. He said, sport has the power to change the world.
yeah,
Sport. It's a powerful thing to bring together white and black, to inspire a nation. He said, sport. I believe that sport is changing the perception of what blind people can and cannot do. Thank you.
yeah, for sure. So I want to take a slight side step from this conversation. And I'm sure that there are people listening this and watching this going, but how? How is blind football different from non-blind football? How is it, is it played on the same kind of field, the same pitch? Obviously, you've mentioned that it has to be including an audio component as well, so that people know where the ball is. So tell us a little bit about the kind of the process of how the game works.
Sure. Blind football is football. That's what I usually say. It really is football. The differences would be the ball's got bells inside, so the players play by hearing.
Mm-hmm.
The goalkeeper uh, can be sighted for directing. The four players who are inside, so it's five aside, uh, um, are visually impaired, so they cannot see. However, they've got shades on because there's variation of blindness. Uh, Game can go 15 minutes aside, 20 minutes going upwards, and then the coach can only speak to the middle zone. And then behind the opposition goalpost, there's also another technical guide to guide the striker where to score.
Okay.
And then that is football. Then there's a panel of referees, and then the rest is literally football. The guys are running, the guys are scoring. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you. A very concise description and very accurate. Thank you. So beyond the blind football, you've already spoken about the other areas that you're involved in Corinthians Africa, other sports, the STEM Center, now the agriculture. What are your plans for Corinthians Africa going forwards?
Plans for Corinthian Africa is that we're gonna be by the next 2 years, every single visually impaired school must have blind football. That's number one.
Okay.
Every province must have a court for blind people to play. That's number two, and that is going to happen. I've been getting calls from young people in Kuruman, calls from young people in Limpopo, Toyando. Every province must have a blind football league, and the infrastructure that must be there. It is a cause I'm willing to continue to fight and to advocate for. Obviously, from an international aspect, Africa Championships in Uganda, hopefully be part of the top 3 teams that can go to Division 1 and represent the country in Division 1 and hopefully make it to the Paralympics, which would be
Yeah.
awesome in the next 3 years. So we're growing internationally. For Corinthians, it's also to expand amongst the all 9 provinces. We're currently in Gauteng and continue to impact.
That sounds like some great targets to be working towards.
100%.
So if people would like to find out more about you, about the work you're doing at Corinthians Africa, about blind football, if they want to support, how can they find you? How can they reach out to you?
Sure. You can reach me on my email, jack@corinthians.africa, jack@corinthians.africa. On social media, TikTok, I'm Coach Jack 48. Find me. I'm leading a movement called Makers. We quiet. We're not to move norm of society. We will challenge institutions. And Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Corinthians.africa, or you can look for me as Mlimbisi Msibi. And then we're going to be opening up our league pages, which is the Johannesburg Blind Football Association. That's how you can contact us. That's how you can journey with us and be part of the movement.
Great. And what I will do, the from this side, from what I was listening to, the call broke up a little bit there. So just to make certain that people do get those links, I will include them in the episode descriptions because I think it's important that people can know how to reach out. And yeah, I will ask you if
Yeah,
you could just help me just um, send me those links on off sort of off the call, and we can then make certain everybody can find them and find where to find you. Great. So
100%.
I want
We
to go
will
back
find
to something that
to all.
carry on. Sorry.
No, no, no. Please go. Please
Okay.
go. Yeah.
I was going to say right at the top of this, you mentioned the Young Mandela Award. And can you just tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
what that award is and what it means to you and to the work that you're doing?
Yeah, look, the Young Mandela Award is a special award for me. It's beautiful. I'm really, really inspired. I'm humbled by it. I just got a call from the managing editor of News 24, and they said, look, you've been nominated for the Young Mandela Award. This year they had 30, then there was a top six, and then they said, look, out of the top six, I stood out. And so for me, that was very, very special for the work I've done for advocating for blind football in the country and establishing the first blind soccer team in the country. And it's a special award. I mean, we all know who Mandela is and what
Yeah.
he represented and what he stood for. And to be recognized like Mandela is out of 60 million people in this country. It's a massive, massive, massive accolade in and of itself and achievement. So it's special for me. I give it to my late mother, Mlimbisi Msibi. She raised me very well. I get emotional now talking about her, but I would not be the man I am today without her. And I think it's important to just really remember her and to acknowledge her and to honor her, because my life is guided by the principles that she has really embedded in me. So yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And oh, congratulations on that award because
Thank you.
it's a very meaningful award, particularly, to know that the work that you're doing is being seen and recognized and yeah, the movement is
Thank you, Lo.
growing and working.
Sure.
So, is there anything that we haven't had a chance to say on this call that you feel that you really do want to say? And in terms of reaching out to people from the youth who are blind, who would love to get involved in blind soccer, but aren't really certain where to start. What should they be thinking about
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, I think my message will be a very general one. My message would be to firstly, the blind community is that you
Mm-hmm.
can do it. You've been told you can't for a long time. And I think blind football has proven that that is false. And blind football is shocking the country. South Africans are being shocked by blind football. You should see the expressions. Blind football, what? No ways, it's a lie. I've been told it's a scam. I've been told that there's no ways blind people can do that. There's no ways they can see. They cheating. They doing this. I've been told a lot of things. But at the end of the day, we're getting people to speak. We're
Yeah.
getting people to take notice. We're getting people to be aware and to be informed that blind people can. That blind people just like anyone else, are part of society and they're deserving to be part of society. One of the things I share to the able-bodied community, so we're told, is that I feel that they're the one who are actually disabled because what blind people can do is beyond what they can do. And so if we put them together, then we have to ask who is really the disabled one. And just to see the community witnessing and seeing what the visually impaired people can do has been inspiring. And seeing what these players can do and how they changing mindsets and how they changing perspectives has been an incredible thing. I believe there's more we can do. I believe blind people can lead in ministerial departments in this country. They can lead institutions. They can lead um, organizations and movements. And so my message to them is, yes, you can, without sounding like Barack Obama, but yes, you can. The world is yours. Go for it. Unfortunately, the world does not believe. Unfortunately, the world won't come to you and give it to you. Unfortunately, there is a lot of hurdles, challenges, roadblocks, but go through it. The process refines you. The process will strengthen you. Go through it because it's more than you. It's for a community that is looking up to you. So if you want to start a blind soccer team, start it. If you want to start a cricket team, start it. If you want to start a business, start it. Whatever it is, just start. The resources will find you forward. The right people will find you forward. We will find you forward. And so my message to you guys is whatever it is that you want to do, the world is yours. Go and get it. You are a troublemaker. Go and get it.
And I think that those are fantastic words on which to draw this to a close. I really appreciate your thoughts, your time, your insights, and yeah, just really to acknowledge the work that you're doing there with
Yeah.
Corinthians Africa and within blind football. So
Yeah. And to you, Lo, I want to say big ups to you. Big ups to you for connecting with people not only in South Africa but all over the world. Big ups to you for creating platforms for people for sharing their stories. It's people like you who are not waiting for people to come and do things. It's people like you who are troublemakers and going out and saying, we will create platforms whether you like it or not. We will ensure that voices and stories are being heard. You are creating you are shifting paradigms, you are shifting mindsets. So it's more than just it being for the disabled listeners, it's also for the able-bodied listeners. So it's people like you who are the true catalyst. May you never stop and may people be inspired by you. So I'd like to say mazel tov to you as well.
well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Because sometimes it does feel like we are talking into a void. You know, it's
So
hard. And I think you can probably
yeah,
resonate with that as well. But
yeah,
there are reasons to keep going. There are reasons to keep doing what we're doing.
never give up.
And seeing something like this, which had a small start and has grown and taken off and taken wing and taken flight, that just kind of reminds us why we do it. So,
Sure.
absolutely. All right, then. So, Mlimbisi, Jack, and CB, Coach Jack, thank you so much. It's been
Yes,
great
ma'am.
to have you with us on A Different Way of Seeing. And I
Sure.
cannot wait to bring this story to my audience. And hopefully,
Awesome.
we can have a small, take a few more steps towards help making this blind football in global league more powerful here in South Africa. So thank you for your
Awesome.
time. It's been great to chat to you.
Thank you so much, Lo. Have a blessed one. Keep up the great work. Take care.
You as well.